want to get started?
Let's do
it. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. We've got a different one for you tonight. I took it outdoors because I just wanted to say fuck Steven in his recording or his editing.
And you, the listener, by the way, more importantly.
Both of them, right? Like, well, let's go back to that joke. The fact that we don't have any listeners or viewers. We'll go back to that joke.
I can't imagine why.
So tonight we are, I'm outside. I'm going to be outside. I don't give a fuck. We are drinking a bottle that I mentioned a second ago is potentially the hardest to get bottle that I have out of anything on my shelves. We're going to be drinking some Penelope Tokaji, which was really hard to get to begin with. But in addition, this is a barrel pick of it, which was, unheard of, basically. It is 107 proof, which makes it 53.5% alcohol, aged 6 years. And in case you didn't know, Tokaji is specifically a Hungarian type of wine. It's supposed to be like a super decadent, amazing wine that is comes from a specific region of Hungary. So that's what this is. And before we do, I think I paid like $70 for it, something like that. But before we do anything else, Steven, what do you think of that label?
Well, Penelope makes good labels, I think. I mean, I think all their packaging is pretty good. I think that they are targeting a specific market, right? We talked about that before, and I think that it's good for that, because it's going to come down to personal preference. Do you like a really floral, like kind of feminine bottle, or do you not? But I think it's really fitting, and it seems to be doing really well for them. It seems to be a good market, and I think the Tokaji label itself looks really cool, and it fits in well with that scheme. I'm actually going to be giving this one an 8. To me, it's one I think it's right up there with some of the best labels that Penelope personally has. And I mean, you can't argue with their success, and I think it is a really fitting label. So,
Ryan, did you want to add anything?
What was that, Steven? I couldn't hear you. I agree with Steven. And if you didn't know, what Tokaji, you look at the spelling, you think it's something that's Japanese, right?
Right.
It just so happens to be named after a region in Hungary. But yeah, wines in that area are real decadent and sweet. It gets colder in those areas throughout the year, so you're going to see wines that are sweeter and more decadent in nature. So interested to see what this tastes like.
And I don't know a lot about the wine because I'm not a wine drinker, but supposedly it's really, really, really challenging to make that particular wine. They have to, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody please. It's something like they have to infect the grapes with a particular, I don't know. It's like they got to do something fucking special with the grapes. That's all I know. Yeah,
I think it's a gray fungus or something that has to attack the grapes.
Something like that. Yeah. And they do it intentionally, of course, but it's it takes an artisan to fucking do it or something. I don't know. But I have been wanting to try this since I got the bottle, and I intentionally did not open it because I wanted my first try to be on this show. Because in the past, we've tried the Cask strength and the white label 80 proof, and we did not like them. So this is and I have not had a single other Penelope beyond those. But this is a situation where I just want to continue giving Penelope a chance. I'm not giving up on them. And I'm hoping that this is the one that's going to knock it out of the park. Because I've got 3 or 4 other bottles of Penelope products down in the basement that I want to give a try at some point in the future. So what do you say we give it a taste?
Let's do it.
Or a nose.
Let's do it. If you want to try Tokaji wine, here on the Illinois side, Costco is selling one right now.
Oh, Costco is?
Yeah.
Cool. So wow, that like the wine is like very apparent on the nose.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
it is more like smelling a glass of wine than it is a glass of whiskey. But I do get the whiskey in there.
Almost reminds you like a more toned down version of like a cognac nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, very much like a cognac nose without as much like there's no burn.
Yeah.
Like I get no burn on the nose. I can smell some alcohol, but I don't get like that pungent burn inside my nose. And for 107 proof, I mean that's up there.
Yeah.
I love this nose.
Yeah, it's very good, and I get some oak, a little bit of oak and a little bit of wheat. That's like some of the primary notes I get that are, whiskey-ish.
It's over like sweetness is everywhere on the nose. Everything else beyond sweetness is really subtle to me.
It's creamy too. Like you can tell it smells creamy, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
And the legs are just fucking insane on this.
very thick legs on the glass.
Yeah. Well, guys,
Cheers.
I gotta taste it. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it is. So on the nose, it's all like wine and sweetness. On the palate, it's sweetness, but it's so much more than just sweet.
You
Oh,
know,
and that-
the first thing that strikes me is if it's kind of like if you did a Midwinter Night's Dram with an Amburana stave in it.
or like a Midwinter's Night's Dram is almost often very wine tasting, right? Like they intentionally left some wine in the barrels. It's like this provides more of a hint of the wine. Like you can definitely taste the wine on the palate, but not to the extent that a Midwinter's Night's Dram has so much wine flavor to it.
Yeah.
And a hug. God damn, that gave me a warm hug.
Very well balanced. I mean, you go honey, you get that rye spice. I know it's higher in rye content, right? It's like whipped cream.
It's a 4-grain. It's
Yeah.
still a 4-grain
Okay,
bourbon.
Okay. It's like someone put whipped cream in the distilling, and like it. When I drink it, it's decadent in the way I like.
And complex, right? Like the flavors you get at the beginning are completely different than 2 minutes after you sip it. Like nice long finish. And it's got some heat to it.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It drinks like 107 proof. It doesn't have a nose of 107 proof. But it's definitely got a feeling of 107 on the palate and the finish.
Yeah.
That warmth. There's a lot of warmth, but it's weird sensation because you're just tasting like honey on the finish. You know? And then but there's just a lot of warmth behind it. This is pretty stellar from the moment, you smell it to the back of the finish. It's like you said, it's really complex. I keep going back to that Midwinter Night's Dram with Amburana stave in it or something. It's like a lot of great combinations of like distinct flavors that are still coming together to make like a really cohesive thing where it also doesn't feel complex. It doesn't feel overly complex. Like it's just like, oh, that's kind of a challenging thing to drink. It's just good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of our highest rated, I imagine,
Yeah.
that we've done.
This is
It's
sick.
I'm honestly surprised because I was so let down by the one I had the first time. Where I mean, I've talked about my, I wouldn't call it like disdain or anything, but that regular bourbon I had, I'm like, I probably won't ever drink anything from Penelope again.
Well,
Yeah.
again, we did have the
It was a
cask
while.
strength,
It was a
and
the
we did
Castro.
have the white label.
Yeah, I thought the white label for me was such a turn off that it's good that they're making good stuff now. And this is
So
a complete 180 from when we drank this in 2020.
so they still offer the white label. They still offer the cask strength, and like I didn't go back and look at my like look at the episode notes or anything like that, but I do remember us being let down by the white label, that it was too expensive for what you get, and that it just lacked flavor. It was a poor attempt to bring women into the whiskey market. That's pretty much what I remember us saying in a nutshell. And then I remember us saying about the cask strength that they were trying too hard, that it was too harsh. It was, I think, 114 proof, but that it drank higher than 114 proof, and all you got was heat, if I remember correctly. And that they needed to find, and I think we recommended, like, figure out a way to get it a balance between the two. And not that they were listening, obviously, but because nobody does. But this is kind of like what we were talking about. Tone it down as far as the heat goes, and god damn, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. How does that cigar go with it, Dan?
It goes very well.
I'd imagine
Goes
it
very
would.
well.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I'm smoking tonight. I've got two others that I'm going to follow up with if I want to. This is a La Gloria Cubana Society cigar. It's a good cigar. I enjoy it. It's actually the first time I've had this cigar.
There's a lot of nice spices to this and some sweetness in there. To me, it seems like it'd be a good pairing.
So I don't know that we've talked about it. Have we talked about Penelope getting bought out?
I feel like we've mentioned it. Could be wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know if we did during an episode or not.
I don't think we did. What Texas? We talked about, was it TX? Was it TX or was it, who was the big Texas distillery? Besides
Balcones?
TS. Balcony. One of them got bought like a significant share by somebody.
There's Garrison Brothers, there's TX, there's
Who did
Balcones.
MGP buy recently?
Penelope.
Okay, so we definitely did talk about it because MGP bought Penelope, and Penelope was sourcing MGP.
Yes.
And they sold it back to them. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, okay. I just want to reiterate that I think that it is the funniest buyout that has ever happened in the history of forever. I get why they did it. I totally understand it. If anything, it speaks to what Penelope has, not necessarily with us, because again, we have not been fans of the two that we've had previously, but the general public has gone ape shit for Penelope. Like it is, the white label and the cask strength are regularly available. Everything else from their line has been just say it, the cicades are saying hi to y'all. But everything else has just become extremely hard to get. And if nothing else, it speaks to like MGP recognizing, hey, it's in our best interest to just buy into what they're doing. We support what they're doing with our product, but it's still just goddamn hilarious to me.
Yeah. Dan, can you do me a favor? Can you just like throw a tennis ball into that tree really hard?
It's not this tree. That's the problem.
It's weird though, because sometimes it'll just go silent. I don't know if they all stop in unison. I think maybe the mic picks it up and then it'll stop for a few seconds. and then it picks it back up.
Well, they're gaining intensity as like right now.
Yeah.
Just like Penelope has been since 2020.
Man, I'm enjoying that.
It was very good.
So it's, you touched on it earlier, Stephen, that it's got like a honey sweetness.
I'm a finish. I think the finish tastes like honey. I don't. Yeah.
I didn't expect that the sweetness would be a honey type sweetness. I expected it to be a richer, deeper sweetness. I don't know if it was because of the color or the proof or the fact that it's coming out of a wine cask. I didn't know, but I really did expect it to be a deeper, richer sweetness. But the sweetness that it has is the perfect sweetness for the pour.
Yeah. And this, I think, is actually the most honey tasting note I've had in any whiskey, maybe. Besides ones that have honey in the name.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think it tastes very much like honey on the finish to me at a certain point.
Man, that's good.
Little clove in there.
A little clove cigarette.
Little Jarm International, was it Jarm Black for you, Ryan?
I did black, yeah.
God,
I'll bring some to Steven's wedding. We'll have a party.
Fuck yeah. Man, I got some cigars lined up for us. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we start? It went out for a second.
Cigar went out. God damn it.
What do you say we give this a score?
We're just gonna end this motherfucker that fast.
All right, let's fucking rate this. Let's rate this bottle. Nobody's gonna listen to 40 minutes of this. I'm telling you.
I'll go first. 9.7.
Wow.
I don't know what else you could want from a bottle of whiskey. I don't. It hits everything. It does everything well. It doesn't, you don't have to try too hard. It's complex, but you don't have to even try. You don't have to put effort into picking out flavors because everything is balanced well. It blends well together. So everything is easy to pick up. It's enjoyable. It's pleasant. It's not too sweet. So it's not like I would get an upset stomach if I drank it too much from too much sugars. It's not too hot. It's not too much of anything, but it's also not too little of anything. So that's what I rate it. That's where it's at. I love this shit.
Yeah, it's very good. I obviously was reserved going into it because I thought I was going to hate it, and I'm glad I don't hate it. And I've been wrestling with the score because I like Angel's Envy Rye so much, even though it's made by Bacardi. Sometimes things surprise you, right? A company can make something bad, but they could also make something really, really good, and it'll surprise you, and it'll give you a newfound respect for that particular brand, and I think that's something Penelope's doing really well. They're masters now. I mean, this is like a 9.5. This is unbelievable. Like strawberries and whipped cream. I got strawberries on it. The clove that Steven mentioned, the honey. I mean, it's so decadent and just so well balanced. And when I look at Angel's Envy Rye, it's very, very, very decadent, right? And you don't really get anything else besides that. It's nice to get something so decadent and then well balanced with the honey and the clove and everything else thrown into it. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I see why MGP bought their own product back.
I'm going to be giving this one, at first I was between a 9, I was thinking 9.5, but I think Dan convinced me. I'm going to go up to a 9.7 as well because I really don't see as well what else I would want from this. Um, but as time goes by, I would probably rate Angels Envy Rye even a few points higher too, and not bump this one down because I do find them like overall similar. And it makes me appreciate really this bottle, as good as it is, it makes me appreciate Angels Envy Rye that much more and just how easy it is to get. This is probably top 3 that I've had. So the score should definitely reflect that. And I don't know what else you would want from this. So
Yeah.
9.7. And join us next week where I'll be recording from my fucking bathroom during a steaming dump.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
This is bad.
It's one night. It's one night, dude.
Dude, it's
I
so
wish
fucking.
you could
I
hear what
can't
we're
hear
hearing.
Ryan over the cicada right now. This is gonna be an insane episode.
Maybe it'll be fun.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna put like the cicada episode in the title.